my name is Ben. If you're watching this, Avengers Endgame has come out, and this is my third time to record this video because my phone hates it. It's been 30 minutes every time, so I'm going to be trying to go a little bit faster. But yeah, anyways, I wanted to do this thing where I made one figure for every Marvel movie, and so I did it in celebration of Endgame and for Marvel's 10-year anniversary. Woohoo. Happy birthday, Marvel. It ends next month, so I did finish it on time. So yeah, I gave myself 2 rules for this, and again, I'm going to be going really fast, so this video doesn't end up being 40 minutes again. So yeah, I gave myself 2 rules. First rule is I can't make the same character twice, even if it's a different version of the character. And then the second rule is no, they all have to be big figs. I mean, they all have to be big figs. They all have to be minifigs. Can't make big figs or light figs or builds or any of that. So let's jump right into it before I spend another 3 minutes talking. And I dropped him. This is Iron Man Mark 1. I don't think that it's possible to make any other figure for the first Marvel movie, Iron Man 1, just because it's definitely the most iconic suit. So yeah, he has these power blasts just to make him look cool. But most people sculpt a lot into their Mark 1s. I didn't do that much. It sticks out a little bit, but I mostly just did the torso, the crotch piece, and then the shoulder pads. And then I used handcuffs for his arms here, and a Boba Fett helmet to make his Iron Man helmet. Helmet isn't the best part, but I love the rest of it. It's all painted in a dark silver, gunmetal gray, and I use silver and black and dark gray to make it look cool. And then in the middle, I even have the arc reactor. That was fun to make because I used different colors of blue. You can't really tell, though. And then I did do the writing on his. I actually wrote that. And I dry brushed him all brown. It makes him look a little bit green, which I don't like, but I love how shiny he is. And also, you can take all his face. It's just the newer standard Tony Stark face. And I have a hair for him so he can be Tony Stank without his helmet on. So yeah, there is the Iron Man Mark 1. Next up is a figure who was almost an exception to the rule, Abomination. Incredible Hulk, you kind of have to make a big fig, so I kind of cut out the... I'm saying cut out the middleman, but I went for the middleman and made this kind of figure based on the design from the Incredibles video games, for the Lego Incredibles video game for Mr. Incredible. So yeah, this is him compared to a normal minifigure. Not exactly 100% to scale, but he looks really cool, and I really like him. So basically, it's just sculpted onto a bunch of bricks. Sorry. No, yeah, and say hi to Monty. Bye, Monty. And then I put a custom head. It's just attached to a standard Lego peg. So yeah, that means that it has full articulation. And speaking of full articulation, he has ball-jointed arms, which is used with the minifigure leg and a, this piece, whatever that's called, antenna. So, yeah. Then I painted his bone parts in white, dry brushed in black, and that's Abomination. I realized I said that wrong. That was a joke, okay? Don't kill me. Next up, we have Black Widow for Iron Man 3. This is my favorite version of Black Widow. So I made a custom face using the Avengers Age of Ultron face. I feel like that looks the most like her, other than the one that they are recently using for her. So I just made her a custom mouth. And the hairpiece, I think this is definitely the most fitting for her. Can't think of who else it's used on. But yeah, I have one, and I put it on her because it looks good for her. She uses cut-up handcuffs as well for her cuffs. And, yeah, 2 E-tape belts on her, not just one. And I just love the dark blue of this version. And then she has paper and E-tape. Not paper, cardboard and E-tape to create her gun holster, even though she doesn't have a gun, because she doesn't really use one in the movie. Doesn't really use any weapons. So that's Black Widow. Yeah. Man, I'm actually doing good at this. For once, I'm actually not talking very slow. This is going a lot better than the last one, but sorry if you can't really keep up. So, yeah, here is, for Thor 1, I chose to do Heimdall, and here is Thor 3 Heimdall, which I made, because I want to show the differences between their faces. It's kind of hard to see because of the African American or black or heads or whatever you want to say. But I did want to make their faces look different, so I didn't kind of copy paste the same figure. So did different eyebrows for him. Used the black Stormtrooper head. Felt like that looked the most like him, like Idris Elba. So yeah, then I used a motorcycle helmet and just sculpted it up to look like his awesome Heimdall helmet. And I made his awesome Heimdall sword. It has a cool name, but I can't think of it. So yeah, I'm really proud of that part. And then sculpted shoulder pads, which fall off a lot. And then a paper skirt to be this thing. And all that goes around it. This should probably be 3D, but it's not. But I think it looks pretty cool with the dark silver and the normal silver. And yeah, that is Heimdall. Moving on. For Cap 1, we have Peggy Carter, or Agent Carter. I kind of feel bad about this one because technically this is not the correct costume. This costume is not featured in the movie. But whatever. I'm not redoing it. So yeah, I just used the mom hairpiece and put an Indiana Jones fedora on it. Just glued it right on, which took a long time to make, but it looks really nice. And most of this figure is super simplistic. Basically just a blue skirt, blue torso with just a little bit of paper detailing there. And then the heels are painted, and then I did them like they did them in the Fantastic Beasts minifigure series. So yeah, that's about it for her. She's super simple. Moving on from her, this figure I'm probably going to spend the most time talking about. Not really because I'm talking about him, but for the first Avengers movie, I made the first Avenger, Captain America. I originally decided to do this figure because I saw Wavy Films design. So yeah, now I'm going to ramble for a bit. It will show up there where you can skip to if you don't want to hear me rambling. But basically, if you weren't aware, Wavy Films, the customizer, died recently, about probably a month ago when this video comes out. So yeah, I really liked the guy. I loved his customs. Didn't know him in real life or anything, but he was a big inspiration on my life, and I just want to say thank you, Wavy, for inspiring me. I pray for his family, and I'm not saying you need to subscribe to him or anything. I mean, clearly he doesn't need it, but go check out his stuff. He has really good customs, but anyways, onto the figure. I used a flash cowl, of course, for his cowl, because I feel like that's the best one. Painted on the wings and the A, and used a, whatever his name is, a Ron Weasley head, to make a fully custom face other than the eyes. Really proud of that. And then a shield has silver painted in place of the white. And then just a lot of details on him. Really proud of it all. And then Lego Batman movie belt pieces for these things. I think I already said that. Whoopsie. But yeah, really like the 3D effect on his torso there. And that's about it. So yeah, moving on to the next person, which is the next movie is Iron Man 3. And so for the person, I chose Pepper Potts because I've never made a Pepper Potts figure. And I think that is the coolest scene that she's in whenever she busts through the Iron Man suit and takes out the arm and shoots Aldrich Killian. Definitely her coolest scene. So I made her in that. So the Iron Man arm is definitely the most detailed part. Pretty proud of how it turned out. Other than that, she is super simple. I mean, the face is custom, so pretty proud of that. And then the hair, I don't know if it's the perfect hair for her, but I think it's pretty good. And then basically, I don't know. Other than that, it is super simple. I didn't even paint the legs at all. But yeah, there is Pepper. And I keep doing that little thing where I slap them on the ground before moving on to the next one. So here we have Odin for Thor 2. So yeah, and for his accessories, he does have a raven and his scepter, which is just made with a Ninjago sai, a rod, and a lightsaber hilt. But yeah, I just used the Tarzan hair for him with some dry brush black or dark gray because he's getting kind of old. And yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite Odins. So really, really proud of this figure. Used some head from The Hobbit. Don't know who it is. One of the dwarfs. And then painted on his eye patch. Just a red cape, pretty standard. And then I made 2 skirts for him. His normal skirt and then this thing because part of his torso comes down. And then I gave him some green on his arms and on his skirt because those kind of, he has little tints of them on those parts of him. So I wanted to give him more color, so I did that. The torso was really hard to make, but I think it looks awesome. So really proud of that. Moving on. Next off, we have Crossbones from Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I used the hair that I gave to Hawkeye in Avengers Infinity War, and I gave him a hairpiece, a different one, to make him Civil War Hawkeye, since that's a movie he's actually in. Used E-tape for the straps on his chest, and then his little... oh, yeah, and by the way, he has glove tops made out of studs. Remember that, because he has glove tops made out of studs right there. And I cut the studs, speaking of, I got those studs from the lightsabers hilts that he's holding, that I attached cardboard to make his little sticks of fun. And then I used the shredder face to make him look like how he does after he gets exploded in the end of the movie. He has some greenish, grayish pants with some simple pocket design on them. And yeah, that's about it. So moving on to Guardians of the Galaxy numero uno. We have Howard the Duck. Love this guy. Really proud of him. One of my favorites. I'm hitting the microphone, so I'm sorry. So, yeah. I took a Lego head and I sculpted his feather hairs that stick up. Really proud of that. And then sculpted his bill. Really proud of that. Really proud of that. Really proud of that. I keep saying that. But to create this foggy look for his glass, I took a clear glass and filled it with dark green paint. Make it look like that. So that looks pretty awesome. And then his torso is really the only part that is hard at all. Other than that, he's literally just 2 colors. But I think it looks really good. I'm really proud of this figure. Just the custom face and the custom torso really make him awesome. So, yeah. Man, It seems like it's taken a while, but what I've made in the last video took 20 minutes. So I'm ahead by a couple minutes. So, yeah. Here we have Quicksilver for Avengers Age of Ultron. I nearly said Avengers Infinity War. This is one of my favorites. I used a Luke Skywalker hairpiece, painted it black, or dry brushed it black because it's like black but also white at the same time. Then just used the Quicksilver head from the sets. And then I just painted it my own sand blue color, continuing that onto the arms. Really simple torso, but also a really cool one. Really proud of how it turned out. And then I did all the details on the legs because he has a lot. And that's about it. Didn't give him an accessory because he doesn't really use any. Ant-Man, I was going to say and the Wasp, but this is just Ant-Man, because I made Yellow Jacket, who, Lego used a gray base. I decided to use a black base. I thought that looked a lot better, especially with the yellow. And then I added dark silver, and here's some E-tape details. Give it, some extra feel. He just has a Lex Luthor head for his head because I feel like that looks a lot like the actor. I forgot his name because Yellow Jacket's a pretty forgettable character other than that he looks cool. So yeah, I took some spider legs, glued them to his back with some cardboard to create all his little pincers or whatever you want to call them, and yeah, that's about it for him. He's just, oh crap, and he just broke while I was taking him off the stand, so that is the third time he did that. I will have to glue him again, and it looks like it took some of the plastic off his back as well, so that's great. Next up we have Civil War. Made kind of an otter figure for this one. Otter sounds really weird when you don't give it any context. Whatever. I made Mailman Stanley because, I don't know, there aren't that many. For, like, such a great movie with so many characters, I really couldn't find anyone. So I made Fedex Stanley, which I just kind of had fun with this, making the FedEx outfit. I even gave him the package, which says FedEx. Really proud of that. And it says Tony Stank. That was based off a promotional thing that FedEx did with him in it for the death of Stanley, because he was also someone who died. Rest in peace. Really proud of the custom face I made for him. And then I have this old hair I used for Grandmaster, and I like to put that on to represent him without his hat on. So yeah, that is Stan the Man Lee. Next movie was Doctor Strange. And then one of my favorite characters from the movie is definitely the Ancient One. Wish we got more of her, but whatever. I just used these things that were in the set because they look amazing. I couldn't do anything better than that. But yeah, I took the head from the set because it looks a lot like her likeness, except for some reason she has waffle iron lines all over her. So I had to erase 1,000,000 waffle iron lines. You can look it up. It's really weird the way they do it. But yeah, my throat's really hurting. Sorry. Made her a paper jacket and then paper in the middle to be more paper that she has on her. And then I gave her black shoes because in every other shot she has black shoes and it doesn't show her shoes in the shot. And then I did paint under the trench coat. So yeah, pretty proud of that. Moving on to my favorite Marvel movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Because I never made Taser Face or Kraglin because I wanted to make Taser Face for this. And I wanted to leave Kraglin to let someone else make. And I did. I got decent customs to make that figure. So you can watch that video up there. Unless I'm lazy in the future. So yeah, this is Taser Face, which is basically just a ton of E-tape, mostly. This is basically the most E-tape I've used on a figure. It's all over his torso. You can't tell because of his amazing sculpted beard, and then I sculpted his hair as well. Really proud of that, the beard and the hair and everything. Fully custom face, which I think turned out really well. I just added random green stuff onto there to make it look like it kind of bulges out, because that's what his head really looks like. He has a Dino Fighters, I think that's what it's called, sniper rifle, which I just cut up and then painted to look like a space gun. And then I dry brushed some cotton brown for the brown on his shoulder, the brown cotton. And then, yeah, that's about it for him. He's pretty cool. Next up, we have a not-to-scale figure to the Squeakquel. And this one is the Vulture, because the next movie is Spider-Man Homecoming. And as you can see, his wings are way too small. They should be like this big. But I wanted him to fit on the stand with everyone else, so I scaled him down. And I used bicycle wheels to create the wheels, so really proud of that idea. I used 2 handcuff pieces to create his sort of gliding mechanism he has here. And then there's some E-tape and some cotton. But this time I painted it. I didn't dry brush this, and I kind of ruined the cotton brown. And then I used some random Star Wars helmet for his helmet. And then I put a cord here so he could actually open it up like he does in the movie. I gotta be real careful though, so let me just take him off and do him like that. He doesn't have a face underneath, so it looks weird, but you can take it off just like you can in the movie, so that's really neat. But yeah, then his little talons are made out of cardboard. I think those turned out really cool. That's about it. Moving that. Next up is Thor Ragnarok, who I made Topaz for, because I basically milked that movie for customs, and she's about the only figure I didn't make. Super proud of the face. I think it looks just like the actress. So proud of that, the custom face. And then I made the melty stick using basically the same way that I made Odin's staff, just with an orange ball at the top. And yeah, other than that, she is pretty simple. Basically just dark gray and dark yellow with a hint of silver and light yellow. Yeah, and then another custom skirt and just the sumo wrestler hairpiece. And yeah, that's about it. I don't want to just rush through these, but I mean, sometimes I just don't know what to say. Like, I can't just go over every single detail. But moving on to the next movie, which was Black Panther, which is the movie I watched just before I filmed this, ironically. So I made Killmonger because I'd never made a Killmonger. And it's kind of hard to see, but I worked really hard. I'm going to try to get him to an angle where you can see it. But I made all his leopard print, and I added dark silver as well for some of his details. So, yeah, he's very, he doesn't look like that much when you look at him from far away, but up close in the light, he is really cool. Really proud of him. Then he has his face, which has a lot of gold on it, and I used a Black Panther mask for it. I usually say I don't like them for it, but they've grown on me, so he's one for him. And then I painted his claws, and then his little necklace of fun. So yeah, there's 3 figures left. For Infinity War, that was another movie I milked for customs, and basically only had 2 figures left. And so this was one of them. So here he is, Vision. Just kidding. That's Infinity War Vision that I made for the Infinity War Showcase. Here's the figure I made. It's Vision. Dead Vision. I made Vision, but he's dead. Basically, I just copied this Vision and then just did him in black and white. And yeah, I'm really proud of him. And then also I made the cape out of paper instead of a fabric cape to make it look more stale. Make it still, kind of. But yeah, other than that, it's the exact same details. He has a Lego Batman movie belt to make him taller than the average minifigure. Is explained by Montgomery the Monofic. So, yeah, and then I did use some silver as well to make him a little shiny. And the face is custom, and I made a big hole in it. And yeah, there's Vision, because I love dead things. And so next up, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, and there were basically no figures left for that. So for this one, I just kind of did a figure just for fun. I made Scott Lang in his kindergarten attire. I think that was a really funny scene. So I decided to make that for my figure for that movie. So yeah, this thing is sculpted onto some tinfoil so it can come off. I wish I used a Lloyd hood, but I did not have one, and I did not want to order one. And so then I painted his beard, as you can see. Wait, let me just grab my Infinity Endgame. Ant-Man is up here. I basically took the same head because it looks quite a bit like Paul Rudd, except it doesn't have the stubble. And I painted the stubble and just sculpted it to make it to where it's longer than his hands and everything. And yeah, he's the second figure to have short legs, the only of 2. And then the last figure is for Captain Marvel, which is the first Captain Marvel figure I will be showing on the channel, and the last figure I made for the challenge. And that is Agent Coulson, because I love Coulson, and he was not very apparent in Captain Marvel, and I really wanted to make him. And I felt like it would be weird to make him for Captain Marvel, and I was like, hey, I can make him for the Marvel Challenge, and be like, oh yeah, I made him just because I needed an obscure random character. So yeah, he's my obscure random character, and I love Phil Coulson. So the tie took a long time to make. That was really hard. Other than that, he's super simple. I based the design for his phone off of this guy from the minifigure series. Pretty proud of how that came out. Then he has the party boy hairpiece and a custom head, which I don't know whose head was this. I can't even remember. Oh, it's Zardu Hasselfrau. All right, I used Zardu Hasselfrau's head, and then painted a likeness to what's his name. Probably one of my favorite likenesses, except for my most recent David Tennant likeness. So yeah. That's about it. Thank you for watching me talk really fast. And if you just want to see, here is what my shelf looks like after that, with figures everywhere. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Marvel for being awesome. And thank you to Stanley and Wavy Films for being awesome as well. The Endgame showcase will be up when I don't know, because I gotta watch the movie first to decide who I want to make. So yeah, thank you. And man, I'm glad to be done with this. I've been recording this for like 2 hours. So thanks for watching. Check back again next time, and see ya on the Minecraft. Goodbye. I forgot to say stay nerdy, friends. So stay nerdy, friends. Don't forget that.